Did you know that right now, this very second, there's a war going on inside your body? It's a full-on, non-stop battle between your cells and a massive army of invisible invaders. So let's pull back the curtain and see how your body's ultimate defense force really works.
So, have you ever really stopped to think about it? Every breath you take, everything you touch, you're coming into contact with literally millions of potential threats. How on earth do we survive all that, day in and day out? Well, it all starts with a fortress.
Okay, so think of your body like a medieval castle. Before any real fighting can happen, the bad guys have to get past the main walls, right? That's exactly what this first line of defense is all about.
And what's so cool is that it's not just one wall, it's a whole system of defenses. I mean, you've got the obvious one, your skin, which is a fantastic physical barrier. But then you also have sticky mucus in your airways and gut designed to trap invaders. And on top of all that, we've even got chemical weapons, like potent stomach acid that can dissolve things and even enzymes in your tears that can destroy bacteria.
But, no fortress is perfect. All it takes is a tiny cut, or you breathe in the wrong thing, and bam, an invader is inside the gates. And this is where the real action begins. The very second that breach happens, an alarm goes off. The guards who are always on patrol spring into action. This is what we call your innate immune system, and let me tell you, it is fast and it is furious. So, who's the first one on the scene? Meet the macrophage. This guy is like the security guard of your body. It's always walking the beat, patrolling your tissues, and it's got this built-in radar for anything that just doesn't look right. Anything that screams, "I'm not from around here." And when it finds an intruder, it has one job. Just one: to eat it. This whole process is called phagocytosis, which basically just means cell eating. And it's wild. The macrophage literally reaches out, engulfs the bad guy, entraps it in this little bubble. Then it just pumps that bubble full of digestive chemicals until the invader is completely obliterated. Poof, gone.
Okay, so what happens if there are too many invaders? If it's not just one or two guys, but a whole army breaching the walls. Well, these macrophages are smart. They don't try to be heroes and fight a losing battle. They sound the alarm and call for backup. Lots of backup. And that alarm, it's not a sound, it's a chemical signal. The macrophages start shooting out these little molecules called cytokines. You can think of them like emergency flares, lighting up the area and yelling, "Hey everyone, the fight is over here, get here now."
You've definitely felt this before. This is inflammation. That redness, the swelling, that heat you feel, that's not the infection. That's your body's response. Those cytokines are making the local blood vessels kind of leaky, so more soldier cells can flood the area. They can even send a message all the way up to your brain to crank up your body temperature and give you a fever, making your whole body a pretty miserable place for those invaders to be.
Now here's a problem. Some of these germs are slippery little guys, really hard for a macrophage to get a good grip on. So your body has this awesome little trick up its sleeve, and this quote just describes it perfectly. These forks have a technical name. They're called opsonins. Their job is to swarm and stick all over a pathogen, basically covering it in little handles. They're like big, flashing eat-me signs for the macrophages. One of the most famous ones is C-reactive protein, or CRP. In fact, when you go to the doctor, they can actually measure the CRP in your blood to figure out just how hard your immune system is fighting.
All right, but what if the first responders and even their reinforcements aren't enough? What if this is a really tough enemy? Well, then it's time to stop messing around. It's time to call in the special forces, the elite squad. This is the specific or adaptive immune system.
And here's how they get called in. We have this amazing messenger cell called a dendritic cell. Its job is basically to be a crime scene investigator. It shows up at the battle, collects evidence from the dead invaders. These little pieces are called antigens, and then it races off to the nearest lymph node. And the lymph node? That's the Special Forces headquarters, just packed with highly trained specialists waiting for a mission briefing.
And this is really the key difference between the two parts of your immune system. The innate system, the first responders, they're like brawlers in a bar fight. Fast, messy, but they get the job done for most things. But this specific system, that's a sniper team. They take a little longer to get set up, but their attack is custom designed for one specific target. And this is the really incredible part, they never, ever forget an enemy.
So once that dendritic cell gets to the lymph node and shows off the evidence, that antigen,
a full-blown, highly sophisticated and targeted counterattack takes off.
This attack is led by a team of 3 main specialists. You've got your T helper cells, they're the generals calling the shots. Then you have the cytotoxic T cells, the assassins who do the dirty work. And finally, the B cells, which are basically walking, talking weapons factories.
Let's start with the generals, the T helper cells. They're the command and control center. Once that messenger cell gives them the briefing on the enemy, they start multiplying and barking out orders in the form of more of those cytokine signals, telling the assassins and the factories exactly what to do. Okay, now for the assassins, the cytotoxic T cells. Their job is kind of grim, but absolutely crucial. They hunt down your own body cells that have been hijacked by an invader, like a virus. They have 2 ways to take them out. They can basically spray the infected cell with enzymes that punch holes right through it, or they can just give it a little chemical signal that tells the cell to flip its own self-destruct switch. It's clean and brutally effective. While the assassins are being deployed, the generals are also activating the B cells, and these B cells undergo this incredible transformation into something called a plasma cell. A plasma cell is a factory, pure and simple. Its one and only purpose is to churn out an unbelievable number of these tiny Y-shaped weapons called antibodies. We're talking millions and millions of them. And these antibodies are like the Swiss Army knife of your immune system. They're amazing. They can latch onto toxins and neutralize them. They can physically block a virus from being able to get into your cells. They can even make a whole bunch of invaders clump together, which makes them a really easy target. And, bringing it all full circle, they act as super specific opsonants, tagging those invaders for destruction.
So, you've got this incredible 2-front war going on. The assassins are taking out your hijacked cells from the inside, and the antibodies are cleaning up the invaders floating around on the outside. Eventually, the enemy is completely overwhelmed. The battle is won, but the story isn't over yet.
For me, this is the most mind-blowing part of the whole thing. After the fight is over, a small number of these elite T and B cells don't just disappear. They become veterans, memory cells, and they hang around in your body for years, sometimes for your entire life. So if that exact same germ ever tries to invade again, these veterans are ready. They launch an attack so fast and so powerful, you probably won't even know you were sick. And that, right there, is the principle behind how vaccines work.
It's an absolutely beautiful, intricate, and powerful system, all designed to protect us. But it does raise one final, really important question. What happens if this incredibly precise targeting system gets confused? What happens when it makes a mistake and starts attacking us? Well, that's a whole other story.